of Shayba. And he was where the Prophet ﷺ sat down and he said that famous dua which is mentioned in the Seerah of Ibn Ishaak. And this dua, as one of the scholars of our time says, that it doesn't need to have any isnad. The wordings of it, you know from the wordings that this dua comes from the heart of a prophet. Because the fact of the matter is, this dua does not have an isnad. Ibn Ishaak narrates it. It's not in Bukhari, it's not in Muslim. Ibn Ishaak narrates it and there's some missing links in it. But the dua is simply so perfect and so moving that, as one of our modern scholars said, it doesn't need an isnad. The content is authentic enough to tell us that this comes from the heart of a prophet. And this dua is one that we should all ponder over and even memorize. Allahumma inni ashku ilayka du'fa quwwati. Oh Allah, to you I complain of my weakness and strength. I don't have strength, my weakness. وَهَوَانِي عَلَى النَّاسِ, and my helplessness and lowliness before men. O Allah, to you I complain of my weakness and my lowliness before men. أنت أرحم الراحمين وأنت رب المستضعفين وأنت ربي. You are the most merciful of all those who have mercy, and you are the Lord of those who are humble, and you are my Lord. إِلَى مَنْ تَكِلُنِي, to whom do you leave me with, O Allah? Who else can I go to other than you? إِلَى بَعِيدٍ يَتَجَهَّمُنِي, to somebody who's a stranger, who is going to treat me harshly. أَمْ إِلَى قَرِيبٍ مَلَّكْتَهُ أَمْرِي, or to a close relative whom you have given power over me, i.e. Abu Lahab. Who are you going to leave me with? A stranger, like these people of Ta'if, who will treat me so harshly, or a close relative who you have given ultimate power over me. إِن لَمْ تَكُنْ غَضْبَانَ عَلَيَّ فَلَا أُبَالِي, as long as you're not angry with me, then I don't care. غَيْرَ أَنَّ عَافِيَتَكَ أَوْسَعُ لِي, except for the fact that your protection from tribulation, your ease and comfort, this is more easy for me. غَيْرَ أَنَّ عَافِيَتَكَ أَوْسَعُ لِي, your ease is easier for me. اللهم إني أعوذ بوجهك, O Allah, I seek refuge in your face. الذي أشرقت له الظلمات وصلح عليه أمر الدنيا والآخرة. Your face, that is the source of all of the light of that releases or that gets rid of the darkness, and because of which all of the affairs of this world and the next are rightly guided. أن ينزل بي غضبك أو يحل بي سخطك. I seek refuge in your face, that your anger comes down upon me, or your wrath envelopes me. لَكَ الْعُتْبَى حَتَّى تَرْضَى. It is your right to criticize until you are content. You have the right to criticize until you are content. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِكَ. And there is no power or change except with you and through you. And this dua is really one of the gems of the seerah that deserves its own long commentary, and we'll summarize some bits of it here. That this dua, think about it from beginning to end. That the Prophet ﷺ is saying that, O Allah, to you I complain of my weakness and my lowliness before men. To you I complain. And this shows us that there is a legitimate concept of complaining to Allah. We do not complain to men. We complain to Allah, and this is a part of our tawheed. And we have this in the Qur'an. Who is complaining to Allah in the Qur'an? Who is complaining to Allah in the Qur'an? Yaqub alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam. إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. I am complaining of all of my grief and sorrow to Allah. When his children come and they try to irritate him, they try to ridicule him, for how long are you going to remember Yusuf? And he tells them, I'm not wanting any sympathy from you. All of this that I'm saying, I'm complaining to Allah. Complaints to Allah are of two types. The first type is haram, and even a type of kufr. And that is to reject the decree of Allah and to reject the wisdom of Allah. And this type of complaint is manifested in, why? Why are you doing this, O Allah? Or, this should not happen. I don't deserve this. This type of complaint is not just a sin, it is kufr. And we have Iblis as the prime example of this. You did this, O Allah, not me. Rabbi bima aghwaytani. You're the one who led me go astray. This type of complaint is kufr. The opposite of this is the essence of Tawheed. And that is, you complain to Allah, seeking refuge in Allah, from Allah, turning to Allah for Allah's sympathy. This is the essence of Tawheed. And this is shakwa ilallah. Not i'tirad anillah, which is a different thing. Shakwa ilallah, which is a complaining to Allah to get Allah's mercy. And here is the example of this is Yaqub and our Prophet ﷺ, that, oh Allah, I complain to you of my weakness. Look at me. I'm complaining to you, meaning I'm wanting your sympathy. This is the meaning of complaint. The English word complaint might not do justice here. The meaning of shakwa here is, Ya Allah, look at me, help me please. This is what the shakwa means, right? Not, Ya Allah, why are you doing this? That type of shakwa is never allowed. So the Prophet is saying, oh Allah, I am complaining to you of my lowly status and my desperation and my lowliness before men. You are the one who's the most merciful, and you are the Lord of the lowly and the weak, and you are my Lord. Who else are you leaving me to, oh Allah? This is the complaint. Who else are you leaving me to? I only have you. There is nobody else. Are you going to give me to a stranger who will treat me like this? Or are you going to give me to a relative whom you have given full power over me? Oh Allah, as long as you are not angry with me, I don't care. Everything is fine. But, and this is how perfect is the complaint here, right? But your ease is easier for me. عَافِيَتَكَ أَوْسَعُ لِي. Your ease is easier for me. As long as you're not angry, I'm happy. But if you send me your ease, this is easier for me to bear. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in your face, that you are ever angry at me, or your wrath ever descends upon me. And indeed, you have the right to criticize, to punish. You have the right to do as you please. I am your servant. I am in your control. You may do as you please until you are content. And indeed, la hawla wa la quwwata illa bik. There is no power or change except with you and through you. Notice here, there is an element of, oh Allah, I'm worried. Are you angry at me? There's a clear element in the dua. After all that's happened to him, his main fear is not, why is there blood on his hand? Why is my shoe soaked with my own blood? That's not his main fear. His main fear is, have I done something wrong? Are you angry at me? As long as you're not angry, then I am fine. And you have the right to criticize and punish. Again, because this is in his mind, am I falling short here? So what is causing him distress is not the pain of the body, but the possibility of having done something to earn the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so he seeks refuge in Allah's anger. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in your face from ever being angry at me. A'udhu biwajhik, that you're ever angry at me, that your adhab ever descends upon me. As long as this is not your adhab, if you're testing me, then I'm not going to complain. I'm not complaining, except that your ease is easier for me than this test. And even in asking for a substitute, there's a beautiful perfection of, if this is what you've decreed, O Allah, and you're happy, then alhamdulillah. However, your afiyah is easier for me. Right? And this also shows, by the way, there is a misunderstanding among some groups of Islam that we accept whatever Allah decrees for us. And this hadith shows, well, not quite. Not quite. Allah had decreed this for the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ is accepting it, but he's saying, oh Allah, if you give me something easier, it's better. This is permissible, right? When somebody is in a, and this is a common motif of some strands of tasawwuf, of Sufism, that some strands of tasawwuf will say that the servant has no right to ever complain whatever the master gives him. He should be content with whatever happens. You're sick, your loved one is dying, your child is sick, quiet and accept. But we find from the du'as that this is not the attitude of the prophets of Allah or the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Every person is pained by the trials of Allah, and so we ask Allah to protect us from those trials and to lift those trials up. And so this type of rida that this group has is an incorrect understanding of rida. Rida means to be content. To be content means you don't challenge Allah's decree. But it doesn't mean that you don't ask for something better. You don't challenge. but you ask for something that is easier for you, as our Prophet ﷺ said. Also notice that he concludes with وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِكَ. And this, as the Prophet ﷺ said, is a treasure from the treasures of Jannah. كَنْزٌ مِّن كُنُوزِ الْجَنَّةِ. And it is a perfect conclusion. Oh Allah, only you can change my situation. لَا حَوْلَ. Only you can change my situation. And right now I have no power on this earth. Only you can give me that power. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. Any change that I want, any power that I want, it will come from you. Also notice, as is the common phrase, and it's a true phrase, that الدعاء سلاح المؤمن. That dua is the weapon of the believer. Here the Prophet ﷺ has been abandoned by his own people, the Quraysh. He doesn't have a city to go back to right now. How he enters Mecca, we'll talk about in a while. He has no city to go back to. The sister city has made fun of him and rejected him. He is literally alone with no one other than his adopted son. That's all that he has. He does not even have money in his pocket or food in his belly, nothing. And so, what does he do? He makes dua. Dua is the weapon of the believer. As long as you have dua, you will find a way out. As long as you have dua, you will carve a way out of your problem. The mu'min is never trapped because the mu'min always has dua. And dua will grant what nothing else will grant. Dua is so powerful that, as the Prophet ﷺ said, the only thing that changes qadr is dua. It even changes qadr. And that is another topic altogether, but dua is indeed